and scaling sessions. We've got some amazing guests in the green room, standing by, waiting to talk to all of you.
In today's world, there's more and more opportunity to have a hybrid in between both of those.
Your job isn't to get into the industry to get rich. Your job is to get into the industry to support and provide the best service you can.
Listen, discover, explore. I mean, it's exactly what I tell the brands that we open retail stores for, right?
Hey, welcome back to another session of the Growth and Scaling Sessions. And today we are covering a massively important topic for all of you out there who run and operate a business. And for those of you that are always curious about how to get a business started, these sessions are really designed to help you understand what goes into growing and scaling a business. And for those of you that are growing and scaling a business, all the topics we cover every week are specifically designed around a process. There is a process. There is a way to grow and scale, and it's not just winging it, I promise. And so today, we're going to cover one of the most important topics I can think of. But before we get to that topic, I want to just mention that today's episode is being sponsored by Captain's Counsel. CaptainsCounsel.com is a company where if you're a CEO or an operator of a business, you likely feel very alone. And sometimes your decisions go questioned by people who don't understand all the dynamics of running and operating a business. Captain's Counsel is a place where you can come and join other CEOs who are on the same journey you are and become part of an advisory board with each other, where 8 to 12 members get together once a month, go through the important topics that are stressing them out about their business, and find unity and find solutions with people who understand the dynamics of running and operating a business. Check out Captain's Counsel today. It's awesome. It's there for you. With that being said, let's dive into the topic. Today's topic is understanding and identifying your ideal client avatar. Yes, Avatar is not just a cool movie. Avatars are personas. They are people. They are the ones you want to target for your business. If you don't understand clearly your ideal client avatar, you are likely marketing to the masses. You are spending money on ads. You are spending money marketing and publicizing your business to people that don't really care, right? And that just sucks. Nobody likes doing that. And so today's topic, we're going to dive deep into how do you identify who actually cares what your company goes out and solves the problem of. Who really cares that you're out there fixing something that may be super relevant to them? Because if you're not solving a problem, you're going out of business. So if your business is solving a specific problem for a specific person, you want to find out how to get into the heads and in front of the eyeballs of those people. So today, I brought a special guest with us. I would like to invite Junaid to come on out and tell us who you are and what you do.
Hey, Todd. First of all, thank you so much for giving this opportunity for me to come on Growth and Scaling Session again and
I love
talking
it.
about this important topic. My name is Junaid, like lemonade, and I help podcasters that host podcasts or guest on podcasts build meaningful video content or make sure that they sound good, they look good on camera, and that they are presenting themselves and their businesses and their brands in the best light possible. Because if people can't understand what your message is, they can't hear you properly, they're probably going to scroll past your video.
Right? 100% they will. 100% they will. And so you're a video magician. You help people look good, you help people sound good, you help people really dive into their content and make sure it's relevant, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you're the perfect guest to have on today because I really feel like you do on a regular basis what most businesses don't do at any point in their business journey.
Mm-hmm.
And that is help them message correctly to the people that need to hear their message, right? So Junaid, how do you look at this whole topic of avatars and ideal clients? And I mean, how do you help your clients understand who that is for them?
Well, the first question, some of the first questions that I asked them, if my clients have clients, like, okay, who are some of the
Right.
people that you're worked with, or who is it that's looking to solve, who are you looking for to solve problem? And what I did for myself to figure out who my ideal client was, I was like, wait, I am my ideal client because I am trying to grow out of the space that I am in into the next level and the next level. It's like once you're in high school, once you're finished high school, you're going to go to a next level of schooling, or
Right.
maybe you're going and working, and then you're continually growing. So I was like, okay, where am I right now, and where am I trying to get to? Who are
Right.
people that I want to mimic or be like Pat Flynn, Gary Vee? These are some really
Right.
great examples that we will all want to be like, but then where did they start from? So I look at from
Totally.
perspective, looking at their research, looking at my research, and figuring all out one step at a time.
Right. Right. I love what you said when you said that you are your ideal client avatar. You're really looking for people who think like you, act like
Hmm.
you, and have the same aspirations that you do, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So I think that is what starts most businesses. I think most businesses start and grow because the owner or the founder of the business really is out to scratch their own itch, right?
Hmm.
Like they got a problem, they're really trying to figure out, how do I solve this thing? They come up with a solution, and now they're out to find more people with the same itch. And that's what you've done. You mentioned a couple of people you're trying to kind of follow the model of, the Gary V's. I mean, yeah, Junaid, if you had a Gary V type audience, what could you not sell successfully, right?
Exactly, exactly,
But
100%.
so with most companies out there, and I say this goes all the way down from the founder down to the people operating and working customer facing employees of the company. How do you get them to understand who their ideal client avatar is? Because I think a lot of people don't recognize that they're only out there to service a specific type of audience.
Hmm. And that's a really great question. So I have a little cool example. A few weeks ago, before my parents arrived, we were like, okay, we want to get our house cleaned or house washed from the outside.
Right.
This guy comes in, is like, yeah, I can do this for blah blah blah. I can do it in next 4 hours. Like, perfect. So as he's doing the work, we came to him and asked him, like, hey, do you also do painting? Do you also do this? He's like, nope, nope, I don't. This is all I do. I just wash the outside of the houses. So he's already defined for himself what it is, what the type of
Right.
services that he wants to serve. So as a company, you got to figure out, okay, which type of services are you going to service? Are
Right.
you a McDonald's, or are you a In-N-Out burger? There's a huge big difference because McDonald's has a huge menu, In-N-Out very small menu. So you got to
Like
figure out,
5 things, right?
right, 5 things they sell. So you got to figure out, okay, how are you trying to serve? And if you look at the story of Apple, and when Steve Jobs was kicked out of there,
Yeah.
they were selling all sorts of models for Apple, and they're like, "What is going on?"
Right?
Their
It was
stock was going
confusing.
down. It was so confusing. And then when Steve Jobs came out, it's like, okay, we're gonna shut down everything. We're only gonna focus on one thing and one thing alone, because when you focus on one thing and one thing alone, you're able to go so much farther and so much deeper that you cannot imagine.
You bring up such a great example. Apple is in so many ways, love them or hate them, they are so good at honing in on their client avatar and making the decision making process so much easier than it possibly could be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I love it. Now, one of the things that I love about this topic is that so many people get it wrong. So many people don't know how to hone in on that perfect client and really, really come to service them. For you, I would imagine your ideal client avatar is someone trying to build brand, either for the company or themselves.
Hmm.
Am I wrong, or are you saying it clearly in what you do?
Yes, that's a great question, and I have struggled with this like most people, right? Okay, who is I can help everybody. Yes, anybody who's
Of
on
course
video, I
you
can help
can.
them, right? But the question is, they're probably not in the same mindset as I have been,
Right.
right? So you got to think from a deeper perspective. But yes, somebody who's trying to build their brand, somebody who's trying to build an online presence, what are the things that they will need? Well, they need to make sure that they sound good, they look good, they have a digital presence on a website, they have the media, like all of those things
Right.
aligned in.
Right.
Now, if somebody already has a brand, it's so much easier to create that
Right.
studio for them as opposed to somebody who's like just trying to figure out the technology of it.
Totally. 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 So you've been able to take a general broad, I can help everybody, down to people who are really focused on and they have the right steps. They just don't know how to configure all their pieces, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
they're already partway down the path for you.
Yes.
And I would say that my business is the same. You know, we talked about Captain's Council down below, the sponsor. The whole idea behind that is CEOs who are not launching, they're past launch. They
Mhm.
have, say, 3 to 30 million in revenue.
Yep.
They don't have an advisory board. They might have investors, but they're scared to talk to their investors about weaknesses, like they don't know where to go
Yes.
next, right?
Yeah.
They're scared to talk to employees because they don't want to freak them out thinking that they don't know what the next step is for the business.
Mhm.
Captain's Council is for a very specific select group of audience members. Generating revenue, don't have monstrous teams to deal with. They don't have a board of advisors. That's the target for them. Not just every CEO, but
Mhm.
people who want to grow, they want to scale, they don't know what to do next.
Yeah.
It's okay to admit it if you're one of those people. I'm one of those people all the time. I love talking to other CEOs
Yeah.
because they give me the best advice I need to help me get to that next level. So you know your ICA, I know
Mhm.
my ICA. What are some things that people can do to really figure out who their ICA is? I put a quick list of 5 things together, and I want to just kind of pick these off one at a time, Junaid, because you are very experienced at this. Let's start with number 1, market research. What kind of things can people do to learn more about their ICA through market research?
Dude, that's an excellent question and something that a lot of entrepreneurs will talk about, especially in their courses. For example, Pat Flynn, he's like, okay,
Right.
here's how you start from zero.
Right.
Sandy Leonarduzzi on her YouTube channel, same with uh, my good friend Sean Cannell.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about, okay, you got to do market research. What is market research? Well, let's define this a little bit.
Right.
What we really mean by market research. So first, you got to figure out which industry and niche market that you're serving. Who's already selling products or selling services in your space that you're trying to
Right.
attack?
Oh,
You got to
love that.
understand what's happening, right? The challenges, the trends, the opportunities, and then look at your competitors because your competitors are reaching the same audience that you're probably trying to reach,
Right.
and maybe you have an edge on them. In the book Rework by the founders of 37 Signals, they talk a lot about find the one thing that's going to uh, make you stand out because you're identifying those gaps in the market that your
Right.
product services can address. And then once you do that, you're able to then understand, okay, this is where I'll need to be present in.
100%. 100%. I think if you're not looking at what your competitors are doing, you're just plain stupid. Like, part of market research is knowing that if you're not totally dominating your field, chances are somebody else is. And if you're not paying attention to what those dominators are doing and how they're attracting people, you're really, really shortchanging yourself. Because let's face it, there's plenty of room in the ocean of clients out there for you to find clients that those big people aren't touching, right?
Yes.
But if you're not paying attention to how they message, how they talk to them, what are the opt-ins they're using, how are they connecting with them, you're just reinventing the wheel, which we all know just kills time, energy. It taps you out, and occasionally, by looking at what other people are doing, you can find a unique way to hit a unique piece of the audience and really go in and grab hold of them.
I love
I
that.
love that you brought that up.
Yeah, what's beautiful about the other part is, for my own experience, right? When I wanted to be a cyclist,
Right.
I joined a cycling team,
I
learn
love
their
that.
vocabulary, understand the terminology they use. When I was a beekeeper, I joined a beekeeping group,
I love it.
right? Understand the language, the terminology, how they talk, like all of those things are going to make you understand. Pat Flynn, when he launched his the Big Pocket Monster YouTube channel from scratch, they're probably at 1 million subscribers in 3 years.
Right.
He embedded himself into that community of Pokemon card people,
Right.
right? So you got to embed and be part of that group, provide value, bring your expertise, because when you do that, people don't see you as a person of who can, who's going to help others that are on the same journey. And when you become that person in that community, you can easily identify those gaps in the market
I
and bring your services.
totally agree. Now let's talk about the next step, because I think the next step is sometimes the easiest thing people can do, and it's the last thing they think about doing. And that is looking at their own customer base.
Mm-hmm.
Junaid, I oftentimes tell my clients, like, this is one of my favorite solutions that usually blows people away because they just don't even think about doing this.
Yeah.
You think about, if you've got a high volume business, let's say you're acquiring 100 clients a week or a month or whatever. Let's just say that, for example. You got 100 clients on board in the last month.
Yeah.
And chances are there's 5 or 6 that were just lay down clients that were just like, oh my gosh, that was the easiest sale, easiest onboarding. They love our solution. Like, everything's going great. And then you got the other end of the spectrum where you got 5 or 6 who are just nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
It was a hard sell. They weren't really happy that they bought. They were complaining from the moment the onboarding appointment was an hour later than they wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Like, something wasn't right with all those people.
Mm-hmm.
I love to tell founders and operators to look at their last, whatever that regular section of, say, a month's worth of client onboarding.
Mm-hmm.
Who are your 5 favorite? Who are your least 5 favorite? And then figure out which ones you want to work with. What was the commonality between the ones you loved and the differences between the ones you hated? Because chances are there was something similar in each of those groups.
No, you're absolutely right. And when you understand, okay, this person was really hard to work with, there's a terminology that we don't do enough of, is firing your own customers.
Yes.
Because if they're taking
Amen.
precious time from you, they're not just robbing you of your time, but they're also robbing other customers that you're serving
100%.
of your gratitude and compassion and grace and whatnot. So look at those characteristics, look at the so there's going to be multiple patterns and similarities among the existing clients, but then you can also go even further. For example, where is their location? For example, some people will only serve a certain area because why? They live there.
Right.
I mean, the reason why social media marketing world is happening in San Diego every year is because the founder is located in San Diego. Right? So
how about that?
who are you going to serve? People who are closer to you or people who are far, far away from you?
Right. And for some businesses, it doesn't matter, but for others, it totally does matter.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love what you're saying there. If you're not analyzing your existing customer bases, you're not understanding your business. Mm-hmm. You're not understanding that there are clients that suck and there are clients that are just amazing blessings. They're referral partners. They love you. They love what you're doing. They come to your events. They buy more products than just one. That's who you want, not the guys that you're having to twist their arm to buy the smallest product you've got and complain the most about that one thing, right?
No, thanks.
No, thank you. Exactly. All right. So the third thing, this leads us into the more creative side of the whole process, which is, create the persona. What are the attributes and the motivation of your favorite clients versus those that suck?
Yeah.
Do you have a way you do this?
Well, I've been in the user experience field for the past 20 years, right?
Love it.
And personas is something that we build when we're building applications.
Right.
And personas defines, okay, what is the mindset? Where is this person spending the most time to be able to then use this application? And the entire world flipped because when the iPhone was introduced, because
Right.
now every application developer needs to understand the persona, needs to understand who's going to be actually playing this video game or
Right.
this game or this app. So understanding their values, beliefs, interests, their age, gender, location, like those are going to help you. And then because you have an existing client list, existing customer list, you
Yeah.
can take those attributes and build this perfect role model that mimics the ideal client avatar.
Right.
And then what this does, you can then give a name. What would John do if he did this? Right. So you give that persona a specific name and he encompasses all of the different things that
Right.
your app or service is going to provide.
And this is exactly what Meta is. Like Facebook is nothing other than a place to build personas, right?
Yes,
I mean,
100%.
that is their only function. They are not they don't charge you to become a member. They
No.
don't charge you to build a profile. In fact, they welcome you. Give us more info. Hey, what's something else I need to know about you? And by the
Yes.
way, did you know that in our terms and conditions, we can hear everything you're saying? And it's like it's crazy how much data we give Meta.
Mhm.
And yet we do it willingly. Why? Because we actually like content and we like things that we like to be shown to
Yes.
us, right?
That's so true. That's so true. Yeah.
We're like being groomed by these companies. Both Google and Meta are expert at finding things that we want, that we think about, that we search about, that we type about, that we talk
Mhm.
about. And I know a lot of people are out there going, no, I use DuckDuckGo. I use anything other than Google and Facebook. Guess what? There's
Uh-huh.
advantages to having a system understand you and deliver to you. And as a business owner, it is your job to
Yeah.
understand what motivates, what excites, what gets your buyers motivated to want to buy your products. That's
Yes.
just part of the job, right?
100%. And it's funny, right? We're in this era of ChatGPT and AI
Yeah,
and whatnot. But the funny thing is, we've been living with AI for the past 20 plus years. I mean, what
right.
do you think Google is? What do you think YouTube is? What do you think Facebook? It's all algorithms. I mean, basically, AI is a new name for algorithms. Okay.
Totally.
But
Totally.
now, what the cool part is, now you can interact with it,
Yes.
which is huge because before we were not able to interact with it, but now you can, which is a huge plus for business owners because
Right.
now you can understand even better what it is that your customers and your ideal client avatar would actually want.
Totally. And the fun part about AI in general is that you get out what you put in, right? And
Hmm.
and a lot of people think, oh, ChatGPT is going to save my life. Well, only if you give it the scenario, right? Like you've got to
Yes.
still build
Yeah.
the persona. Like you can't just say, hey, ChatGPT, tell me how to get a buyer today.
Yeah.
Now you got to tell it the story. And so just like using ChatGPT effectively, if you don't tell the story effectively, the right people don't hear the message. They don't
Hmm.
hear they're not inclined to go to your site and buy what it is you're trying to sell.
Yeah.
So build that persona. Let's just pop this back up one more time. First step is to really do some market research, understand who your potential buyers are, analyze your existing buyer database, create the persona with attributes and motivations. And now let's go to the next step, analytics and surveys. We talked about Meta. We talked about Facebook, just being that user interface. Have you used surveys? Like, have you been able to extract data from places where people are willing to give you the information?
100%.
Tell us
Because
about it.
without analytics, without the survey, you're not 100% sure what service and what product is going to help them make the decision.
100%.
Apple is a totally different animal because they understand they're always scratching their own itch. Okay. And
Yeah.
so there's two models that you can do analytics and surveys, or you can continue to scratch your itch and then find people who also want to scratch that itch. I mean,
Right.
there's a whole book on scratch your own itch,
There is
and
a book.
how it could be a dangerous advice also, as well as a good advice. So again, there's a plus and minus to everything. But again, having good analytic data is really helpful for myself. I was actually I interviewed over 50 agency owners to understand
It's
what they
awesome.
do as podcast agency owners, very specific. So I can understand what problems, what things that they're going through. And
Love
then
it.
now I have this database of people and services that they provide and what problems they're facing. So if I wanted to create an application or provide a service for
Right.
them to solve that problem for each one of them, I can easily do it. So again,
I love it.
based on the market research, based on the persona, based on all those things, it helps you define even better to what product service you can offer. Here's the plus point when you do that.
Yeah.
You can scale faster when you
100%
have
you
this
can.
information.
Yeah. When you're not shotgun spraying everybody, it's amazing how much more focused the target,
Yeah.
the better the response you get back. This goes true with ads. It goes through with even just creating content. If you're a content creator, if you're not specific to who you're trying to speak to, they'll never hear you.
Yeah.
Never ever hear you. A lot of industry jargon, if people don't know the jargon, they're never going to recognize it. They're not even going to be interested in your topic. So that's a good and a bad thing. You can qualify people out of your finding pool by using jargon sometimes.
Yeah.
But simply put, if you don't know the way that they're going to hear you, you're not going to find them. And so Junaid, as we talk about the analytics and surveys, a lot of people are scared to put their info into a poll, for example, even though they may be on LinkedIn right now. And there's a poll coming out from someone they know and trust.
Yeah.
But they're hesitant. Why? Why? They already know who you are. You're already connected to them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. I've found that the more information I'm willing to give somebody, either they disqualify me because they don't want to deal with my set of problems, or they become the perfect fit. Why do you not want a vendor who's a perfect fit?
It's again the concept of privacy.
Right.
I put it in quotes because nothing's really private.
There's very little.
I mean, we're literally walking around with this supercomputer in our pockets that can track our movements. They can track where you are, where you went for lunch.
Totally.
I mean, if you link all that information together, there's literally no privacy. Yes, there are boundaries to privacy, but again, the more information that you're willing to give, it is just going to help you
better experience
what you're going to get. Yeah.
I love that. Now, the last step, and while I'm pulling this up, I forgot to even bring this up, but we love engaging with chat. So if anybody's watching this and wants to throw in, I would love to know who your avatar is. If you're listening to this right now and you have an avatar, you have a persona that you like to target with your marketing, I would love to know who your avatar is. So throw it in the chat. Let us know who your ideal client avatar is. And then secondly, I'd love to know, what is your key phrase? What do you use to message to them? What is the pain point you're really trying to kind of prick down into and get the responses that you're looking for? Let us know in the chat. I'd love to call those out. While you're doing that though, the last step in avatar research or persona research or whatever the keyword is you want to say. A lot of people say ICP, a lot of people say ICA.
Yeah.
I like avatar just because I like thinking of everyone as blue creatures with tails and stuff, but that's just me. So continuously refine your process. Junaid, can your avatar description get better with time?
100%. 100%, because guess what's happening with you every single day? You're getting better. You're learning from your past mistakes, hopefully, and then making sure that you're not doing them in the future. So as you grow, your ideal persona is also going to grow. Your ideal client is also going to grow because they're they're following you through your journey. They see the
Totally.
transformation that you're making, and as they want to make those transformations, they're gonna keep coming back. Like, okay, what is Junaid
100%.
doing today? What's he gonna
100%.
work on tomorrow? So, how is he growing? How can I learn from that? So again, regularly revisiting and updating your ideal client based on information, based on insights that you're coming back with, getting the more data and feedback that you're getting from people,
Totally.
adjusting market trend. Because there's also another thing that's involved. They call it marketing strategies, but it's also look at the market, like the whole general market.
Right.
About a week ago, I've been tracking the finance market, right? And everything's going up and up and up. And
Right.
Apple's like 192, all the other stocks like high. And then Monday comes in, boom, everything's dropped by 50%. I'm like, what is going on in the market?
Right.
Because recession has hit. So if
Yeah.
recession's hitting, what's the mindset for people going to change? Now you've got to
Right.
change your strategies. You got to stay aligned with what your target audience is thinking so that you can still provide them the solutions. And,
Totally.
yeah.
Totally. There's a lot of factors that you can't help. And those factors, these outside factors are constantly influencing your buyers. And you can't control it, but when you can anticipate how their pain point is modified by these new factors, now you can retarget, you can remessage, you can re-engage in a different way. I deal with a lot of as part of our Captain's Council community. It's really interesting because for some people the pain point is I feel lonely and isolated. For other people it's the pain point of I've got nobody I can bounce my ideas off of. For other people it's like I truly just don't know what to do next. Like I'm making money, I'm doing really good,
Yeah.
but I kind of want a bigger exit. How do I get to be a bigger exit? Well, that's where peers who have been there, done that can connect. And for some people, they could care less about feeling lonely. They may be a total introvert.
Yeah.
But for others, it's like, you know what? I hate not knowing my next step. I am so happy to be a $10 million a year company, but what if I could get to 50? What would that do to my valuation if I want to exit right now? Chances are the solution is not that hard, but having a board of advisors who have been there, done that, that's where you get those added steps to get to that next place.
100%.
So for you, your avatar, technology changes every week. You've got a whole new, ball. I mean, I love your home studio mastery business. Like I really do. I love what you do to help people build better visual appearances for their calls, for their everything else they're doing. You've got a great persona that you target. You're hitting a lot of influential people, a lot of people who have influence already. You're getting people to look better, act smarter, build better persona. I love what you do.
Thanks,
and
man.
as we both kind of move forward with our businesses, it's a really, really powerful thing to always be following these 5 key things. And I would say repeat them on a regular basis.
100%.
Do the market research. If you've already done it 6 months ago, do it one more time. Analyzing your customer base. If you decided not to work with this group, this segment, time to resegment. Is there a new part of your new group that you don't like? How do you get them out and move forward to the ones you do? And so on and so forth. Follow these steps.
Yeah.
Junaid, what are some kind of closing thoughts you might have on this topic? Because I think we could go on for another hour, but we're not going to.
I think the closing thought, it's keeping these things in mind, but then also keep moving forward. Find people who are in the market, because as much as we think about competition as a bad thing, it is actually a good thing.
Right.
And people in our industry,
I love that you said that.
you'll realize that if you reach out to them person to person, they'll be more than willing to help you figure out the problem, because guess what? They've been in your shoes not too long ago. Right. So I love
100%.
what Captain's Council is doing. And, thank you so much again for this opportunities. Reach out if there's anything that, both of us can help you with.
Right.
Because this is human beings. We are not islands. We are social animals. We love to connect with each other.
Right.
And that's why we have so many different social networks. I mean, Threads, as the latest social network, just came out. I mean, but there's hundreds and hundreds of these. So reach out to the community that you're part of, or find a community that is going to empower you and get you to move forward.
I love it. Love it. Junaid, I'm so glad to have had you with me today. You're such a fun guy, and I love the conversations we have on and
Thanks, brother.
offline. And for those of you listening, truly, if you're struggling, leave comments below. We would love to apply some of our shared knowledge, and anyone else that has influence on how to build a client avatar. If you're not good at understanding this, hire a marketing agency. If you don't have a good marketing agency that's telling you who your avatar is, get another one. Because if you don't understand this foundational piece of your business, you've got to understand it. You're just throwing money away into endless pits of marketing wonderland that aren't attracting the right people. Know who you're talking to, know the problem you solve, have a process, have a system of refining monthly, if not quarterly, and really nail down who it is you're trying to solve the problem for, make a better solution for the way you're solving it right now, and check out what your competitors are doing. Junaid, thanks again for being here. And the rest of you, share down below. We'd love to engage with you. We'll catch you on the next one.